right, cold open question of the week, Solo.
How's it going, UrzZz?
Good to have you. With 3v3 GAC season concluding, how do you rate the 3v3 Amis? Is it, if you're someone like me who plays specifically for GAC and the Ami mats are so precious, are they worth allocating for threes?
The only one I would say yes to is the Tuscan.
And I love Tuscans. I know there's
gotta give Tuscans the love. The Tuscan Raider one is magic.
Yeah, so that's just summoning an additional Raider, and then he pops back up if you don't kill Raider. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the Dad Bod Boba one? Because I love Tuscans. I'm fully invested in them, and I'm thinking about splitting them for threes. And then Boba has one as well, Dad Bod Boba. What do you think about that one?
It's not as good. I mean, it works. It does the job, but it's not as good.
Yeah. Are there any other 3v3 Amis that you would recommend? I don't know if there's more than that, just because I'm, a Tuscan guy.
Yeah, no, I don't. What's her name? Afra has a couple on the droids, but I would not recommend them. Okay. Do not apply those.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. 3v3s. Do you enjoy threes? Are you a threes guy, or are you more of a fives?
I mean, I like fives best. I enjoy threes still.
I enjoy threes too.
Actually, I tend to do better on threes, to be honest with you.
Well, I had a pretty good. I went 2 and 3 this last round. We'll get to GAC coverage entirely later in the show, but I did get stonewalled by Leia. I didn't have the SLKR online yet. And man, that was brutal. That was just show's over, guys. That's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, threes is the GL. Like, GLs are more important in threes than in fives. There's a lot less off meta crap you can use.
Yeah. We've got a lot to discuss, guys. Omega Fugitive entering the wild, a new CG survey that just went out, and the final Dark Side Rey, Dark Rey, whatever you guys are calling her, conquest has begun as of today, and she is coming. Here we go. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Stick around, and let's start the show.
Ignite your passion and embrace the glow of the Holotables.
This is it.
Broadcasting live just beyond the Dune Sea, we join the heartthrob of the Outer Rim, UrzZz.
Hello, what have we here?
Welcome to Love on the Holotables, an absolutely unremarkable yet ridiculous Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
It's a trap.
It's time to lock those S-foils in a chill position and head on down to the big Holotable for all the latest action.
This is Red 5, I'm going in.
Well, hooty hoo, and a big hello from me to you. My name is UrzZz, and I'd like to welcome you all back to Love on the Holotables. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. He's one half of the Gambit podcast, Twitch streamer, content creator for SoloBass. SoloBass. Solo, how are you, man?
Fantastic, and thank you for having me. I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
I was typing up this intro here, and you are one half of the Gambit podcast. Now, when we say Gambit, we mean like, what is it, Gambit? Like calculated risk? Is that the definition? What's the definition?
Calculated risk is probably a good definition for it.
Now, it has nothing to do with X-Men, correct?
It does not. It actually, it has to do with Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. Shaitan and all that stuff.
Zareth and I are both big fans, and so it's Matt Cawthon throwing out the gambits.
Throwing out the gambits. Okay, because I was going to say, you're called the Gambit Podcast. You actually have the X-Men as a co-host, but you have nothing to do with X-Men.
That's it. Correct. Yes. That is the definition of irony right there.
No, I was just putting that all together before the show. I was like, oh, I got to give him a bunch of crap about that. All right. Well, let's jump into the news, my friend. Great to have you on the show. Yeah. Actually, funny thing is, we've been around for many years. First time I met you was when I went up against X.
Right.
On his, where we had a matchup in GAC, and I was giving Solo a hard time because he was blocking the scoreboard. And I was like, "Who is this guy blocking the scoreboard?" But no. It's so great to have you on, and you've raided into the hall many times, and I just want to say thank you for all that.
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, let's jump into the character news that we got for this week, or not character news, but just news in general. The Capital Games sent out a survey. Did you see this survey?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so the survey, for those that didn't see it, or maybe you missed the videos, or maybe you missed the survey entirely, it was, 3 different factions and 3 different types, and it was a 2-question survey. It was like, pick a faction and pick a type, and when we say type, we mean support, tank, or attacker, right?
Yeah.
And the factions were mercenary, bounty hunter, and what was the third one? Smuggler. Yeah. Now weird. It's weird they said we're gonna talk the difference between smuggler. It was actually smuggler, not scoundrel, because smugglers don't really do anything. I don't think.
I'm pretty shy.
Well, we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out as we go.
Where's Freebot when you need him?
Yeah, where's that Freebot? He's around. So what I ended up voting for, I just did it quickly. I was just like, oh, let me just get this done. I ended up voting for mercenary support because I feel like they need a little bit more help with that Balin team. Just a little bit of something else. I mean, I feel like they put out good damage. They need ways of like clearing debuffs and healing up and, generating more Soldier of Fortune. So I ended up voting for that really quick. But then I started reading and everybody was talking about bounty hunters needing another tank. And I sort of thought for a second, I'm like, oh, crap, they really don't have much for tanks, do they?
They don't. No, they're bounty hunters. They're all about attack. They don't need tanks.
Oh,
come on.
See, yeah. So we got. What are the main bounty hunter tanks? It's like Bosk and.
It's Bosk.
Just Bosk. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you vote for that survey?
I went. See, this is why I think it's smuggler. I went smuggler tank.
Smuggler tank. Okay.
Because I want the YOLO squad to be good. I can't even say good again. I want them to be good, damn it.
Yeah, the prepared team. Okay, so I love prepared. I got, all sorts of fun stuff around that team. And I was able to, I've got all my prepared units up to relic 5. I would love for something to do with them. They're just flimsy as all heck. So a tank that isn't Vanshu would be pretty great, actually.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they made Dash, right, and Dash is more of a just damage dealer. He's more of a Han Chewie type plug and play type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people mentioned Dirge. Are you familiar with Dirge from the lore? I think he's from the Clone Wars animated series.
I know of him. I know
like this weird blob type alien that can kind of absorb things, if I remember correctly. He was in this box art with box arc with Cad Bane, I think. Yeah, it's been a minute since I remember, but a lot of people are shouting that guy out.
He's the big robot, right?
He may be robot. I don't know.
Or he looks like a robot. At least back in the what was it, 2001, 2002 Mace series. He looked like a robot to me.
Okay. Other characters that they could possibly bring in. I mean, I don't know. There's a list. This sort of got me on a whole tangent before the show because we need things to talk about tonight. I was sort of thinking what's the easy characters that they're missing in the game right now? What comes to your mind is a massive gap? I've got a list here, but I'm just curious if you have one that's always stuck out in your mind.
Are we including Fleet in this?
You can include Fleet. I mean,
all right.
This is more for the character survey, but I mean,
yeah.
I have a feeling you'd probably say Red 5.
Except for, I want CG to do the ultimate troll and do Rey Red 5.
Oh my God, you're twisted. You're demented.
Yes. I've said this for 5 years. I want the first Red 5 that comes into the game to be Rey Red 5.
Well, it would be like the
just for fanboy tears.
Yes, it would be like the old days when all we had was Rey's Millennium Falcon. Remember that?
Right.
They could do some fun stuff with that because the Red 5 has been chilling in the ocean on Occ 2. They could have seaweed in the cockpit. They could do all sorts of goofy stuff with that. Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. That is ultimate true. Red 5 is coming, everybody, but it's Rey.
Oh my god, I would be so happy. I've been so happy.
So what about characters in general? Anything off the top of your head that we're missing here?
Off the top of my head, not really. I'm sure you're going to say somebody, and I'm immediately going to be like, "Oh my god, how did I not think of that?"
I just jotted down a few.
Yeah.
So Agent Callus, you're familiar with him from?
Oh
Rebels.
yes, of course.
So they could do an Imperial version, and they could do a Phoenix version as well. Because if spoilers, I don't know if we see spoilers for Rebels. It was like 10 years ago.
Right.
He turns to the rebellion. So they could do two different versions of him.
Yeah.
Given their release content, their eras and episodes, they're going to have to be cranking out stuff here. So, perhaps that could be one. What about? Are you a big fan of Andor? Have you watched any Andor?
So, the hall is going to hate me. I fell asleep to Andor.
No, it's amazing.
It is. Oh my god. So here's my problem with it. Right. Andor is basically two movies. It's like the 2-3 episode arcs.
Yes.
And the first 2 episodes of each arc are like, let's set this up and be boring as hell. And
okay, you can be boring if you're telling a good story and have good dialogue. And
so
that's what Andor does.
That's fair. The problem is Mrs. Solo doesn't want to watch it and goes to bed like around 9:30, which means Mr. Solo doesn't start watching TV until 10. And if you're not keeping me up, I'm asleep on the couch.
Well, I know all about sleeping on the couch, so I totally get that. Right. There's some things I just put on and I'm out like a baby, man. I'm just done. You guys will get there. Us old timers we're over 40, me and Solo, so we're tired. We got kids. We're tired.
Yeah, right.
All right. Here's some more that I had. So there in Andor, there's a whole arc around the ISB, so the Imperial Security Bureau. They could do an entire faction. They got a whole room full of dudes there. They could do an entire faction.
Oh, let me interrupt you because you know what we need? We need Skeleton Crew. See, that was so much better than Andor.
Okay, Skeleton Crew was great. I don't know if I liked it better than Andor, but it was great. It was very underrated.
Yes.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I was shocked to hear the numbers were not great for it. But
well, nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. So
I love to complain about Star Wars, but I certainly don't hate it.
Right.
I want to see it succeed. I want to see it be good, but I mean, if it's bullshit, I'm going to call bullshit,
Yeah.
No, but Skeleton Crew was fun, and I could definitely see that. That could be coming to the game. I mean, we just saw a young Omega, or another Omega, I should say, so it's not out of the question for them to do kid characters.
Yeah, or another ship of the Onyx Cinder.
Yeah,
and
SM-33.
Pirate.
So good. And then the pirate faction. Oh, my God. We can get pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, my favorite pirate, who's a dead pirate now, but it was Gorian Shan from Shard or whatever from Mando Season 3, that Mosh guy.
Yep.
He's really cool looking when he's a hologram and he's got a deep voice. That guy was awesome. Okay, so we have ISB faction. We've got bounty hunters, or we got pirates. We've got Skeleton Crew. What about characters from games? Do you dabble in any of the other games outside of Galaxy of Heroes?
I do. I watched the movie of, the YouTube movie of what's it called? Cal Kestis.
Oh yeah,
both of them for both games because I started playing it and I just wanted to play other games. That's not really like my style game. So I watched the YouTube movies of that. Empire at War is one of my favorite games ever, but there's not really characters there.
Yeah, it's like OT stuff, which we have all that. But yeah, like Survivor's really good. There's certainly characters they could bring from Jedi Survivor. Outlaws was a very underrated game. People just want to hate it because it's Ubisoft. So, but
sure.
Outlaws had great characters, and then there's a few characters in Force Unleashed that we never got, and we have Starkiller now. So I think that's all green space as well. You mentioned Empire at War. Do you play any other? This is an off the wall question. Do you play any other RTS games or?
Oh my god, that's all I play basically.
Did you ever play Company of Heroes?
I have, yeah.
I thought that was the best one, but okay, that's going in a whole different place.
It is.
Forlom and Zuckuss, those are two bounty hunters that don't really have a home. Dryden Voss and Tobias Beckett from Solo. Did you like Solo?
Yeah, I loved that movie.
I thought it was so underrated, man. People hating on it.
That was the start of right after Last Jedi, and everyone just wanted to hate.
It was a really good movie.
It was.
And then we've got Calo Nord from Knights of the Old Republic, a bounty hunter from there. Pong Krell from Clone Wars. He's got like the 4 lightsabers.
Oh man, the most hated character ever from Clone Wars.
What was Pong Krell right though?
I don't have enough alcohol in me to make that argument.
Was he right? All right, and then the last one we've got Quinlan Voss, who was great in Clone Wars as well. All right, so those are just like some off the wall stuff from the characters survey that we sort of just went through. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comments who's missing from the game and who do you want to see, and what was your vote for that character survey. All right, Solo. Turn 1 Nihilus insta-kill with Omega. Have you seen this?
I have.
What do you think of this? I think it's fun, but apparently...
I mean, it's going to be fixed, but I agree with you. It's kind of fun, but...
Yeah, I mean, so what's the fix? They're just going to change it to be Bad Batch allies instead of all allies?
Probably. Yeah.
We're investigating this. Turn 1 insta-kill with Nihilus.
Right. Yeah, they're just going to turn it Bad Batch.
I was watching Arnold stream it, and I was like, this is must-see TV. Like, is this going to work? Like, I'm like reading the kits, like, and I'm like, oh, this is totally going to work. But it's like, you don't know. It's like, they didn't test this. You know they didn't test this.
No.
And certainly, it worked. It was great. Impressions of Omega in the wild. What do you think, man?
I mean, it's so hard to say because she's very clearly designed to be with the rest of the team that we have no clue what their kids do. I can tell you, I am very close to talking about Omicrons. I'm pretty sure this team's going to be good enough that I'm applying her lead Omicron.
And that's like, what does that one do? I don't have the kit up in front of me.
Off the top of my head, the most important part is she's got a no revive for the team.
Oh yeah, that's always.
And
great.
And they're immune to dots and plague. It does a couple other things, but that's what I remember.
Yeah. So anti-Vader tech, anti Night Sister tech. So
yeah.
And I have to tell you though, like I've done the like her like events and stuff. Like, it seems like she works pretty sufficiently well with old Bad Batch, which is kind of interesting. Like, almost like too well, considering all the stuff we just did with Sabine and how terrible kind of she looked at, like, immediately out of the gate. And I don't know.
Right.
I think it looks sufficiently strong enough to be like, well, maybe if you have Legacy Bad Batch, it could be a replacement for maybe Shocker in there. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't relic up their original Omega because she was sort of a luxury item and she was cryotech heavy. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I haven't seen enough of her. I haven't seen her. I didn't see her at all in GAC. What GAC bracket are you in? I'm just curious.
I'm Kyber 1. So before this week, I was top 100 overall. Yeah.
Wow, I think
so. I did see her because I'm up there with all the whales. So I did see her this week, but I think I overkilled with something absurd, and so I didn't actually see her.
Well, she was there for a minute, and then she was
Right.
Kyber won. I think top 100. I've had Scribe on. I've had Bit Dynasty on. I've had Calvin on a couple times. I think that's the highest anyone has been on the show.
Wow, look at that. I'm doing something good. I am not top 100 anymore, so we'll talk about it later. I took this week off.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, we'll get there. And the last bit of news we have this week, guys, it's the final countdown, the final conquest for Rey Dark Side Vision. Solo, what predictions here? You're going to red crate this, I already know. But
she's going to be good.
Yeah, is this going to be nuclear, right? Like, this is going to be the new meta, right?
I mean, I'm hoping it's going to solve Ahsoka. It better solve Ahsoka.
Are you having issues with Ahsoka right now?
Yeah. Well, so she's not as hard in GAC. Like because I'm into the game for TW too, and she's impossible in TW.
Oh, okay.
And of course, Rey has all GAC Omicrons, but hopefully her base kit, God, just help us solve this stupid Ahsoka team.
Yeah, Ahsoka, she has one or two TW specific Omicrons. Is that correct?
She has two, and they're nasty. They are. There's because one on Hera and one on Sabine, and both of them are just. You add them up, and they're good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, since coming back to the game, this is like I've red crated the last two because of Rey Dark Side Vision, and I was able to get the Kylo bundle because I was like out for a lot of that stuff, and so I'm like I took the fast road with that Kylo bundle for like $9, and I was able to do a couple of conquest passes since they helped me with proving grounds and getting some of the conquest units that I've missed over the few years. So this is going to be, I just got to red crate this one and I'm good to go. So I'm excited because, I mean, everything that we've read on this, everything, like we're doing the kit review, like it was like one of those things, Solo, where you're reading it, you're like, why did they add that? And it's just like, why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Like, what are they trying to kill with this thing? Like everything? Like
the answer is everything.
Yeah, like I guess that's my thought is like eventually they're gonna make something that's gonna be just so ridiculously busted that they can't, like everything they design after that's just gonna be like I mean our power creep levels are just insanity right now.
Oh, they'll find a way. We have Omicrons now. Just wait for like super Omicrons or Thetas or something.
Thetas.
Yeah. Yes.
Yo, you put that Theta on her. All right. Good stuff. Anything else on Dark Side Rey or any of this news items that we got going on here? Anything that you want to cover off on that we missed?
No, probably not. I mean, like you said, it's a quiet week. We're just here.
Okay. Well, you mentioned taking the week off for GAC.
Yeah.
What was the design of that? Just to give yourself a break, sanity.
All right, so I literally just said all I play is RTS, except for every once in a while we need something else. So the game Dynasty Warriors Origins came out,
okay,
and it is so not everybody is into Mushu type games, but I am, and so it's already competing for Game of the Year for me.
Dynasty
so I've been playing that.
I'm trying to think, like Dynasty Warriors, like that. Isn't that like old BioWare? Is that correct?
Is it BioWare?
I maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It's Omega Force. It's Omega Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that like what type of game is that?
You are basically a character just running around ancient China killing crap.
But like what type of combat is it? Is it like tactical? Is it for like Survivor? Like what is it?
Oh, how do you describe it? Have you ever played Middle Earth: Shadow of War?
No.
All right. Okay, then. Well, so basically, you are a solo warrior, and you're dropped into a battlefield with thousands of characters, and just go kill them. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
It is the ultimate stress relief.
But you're like actually like it's based on like Twitch skills and not like turn-based combat or anything, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That sounds fun. It sounds like a delightful. So that's what you were totally just head first into this week.
I'm already like 30 hours in, and the game came out a week ago on the 13th. It came out on the 13th.
Well, you know, there's just I firmly believe there's a place out there for those stress release games where it's just shut your. I always attributed like Diablo to be a stress release game where you could just like whirlwind barb and just spin and just have like a beer in hand and just like controlling with your mouse with the other hand, and you're just spinning and just killing stuff.
Yeah, it's just turn off for a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, everybody that comes on the show, Solo, I like to ask the question, your notable takeaways from GAC. Now, this can be defensive holds you're getting, maybe like sneaky tech that you like that maybe not a lot of people talk about, and maybe like your favorite squad. Like, what do you think?
Oh man, you know what? This season, so it's not the best team, but it is making the best out of an old team of the old Bosk Dengar Zam team with the Dengar Kron. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a fun defense team.
And is your Zammy like Amid for that, just to juice it even more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then offense, the Balin team just ripping apart Rey was great this season.
Yeah, I've used that to take down Rey. I've used it to take down like a few different things. We've used it on Kenobi. Yeah, man, like that mic drop that Shin does when she just gets enough stacks of soldier force.
Right.
It's like, oh, everybody's gonna lay down now. Bam, and she just so good, so good. What do you think for like what would you like to see the next thing? Because I'm all in on that team. I wailed on that team. But who do you normally run in your 4 and 5 spot?
So on the survey, I voted for Smuggler Tank because L3 obviously is the only tank that kind of fits into that team, and I use L3 on the Balin team now. Okay. So I want to replace her. But it's usually like her and Hondo. I mean, Hondo's not doing much for me outside of that team, so it's her and Hondo.
I run Django and Dengar for no particular reason, but I have Hondo. Maybe I'll try that. And I do sub in L3 occasionally when I'm like need a tank for whatever feat I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
So I will do that. Favorite squad to pilot?
Oh man, that's tough. So are we talking just 3v3 or 5v5 too?
Whatever comes to mind. It can be 5s or 3s, whatever comes to mind.
I really enjoy the new Ahsoka team, the Spectre team, because if you play it right, I mean, it's just disgusting.
Just like in terms of like damage output or just control elements or?
Mostly damage output. Like you play it right and she ults on her first turn and the entire team's out of exile on their first turn. And then for those that don't know the kit, when you come out of exile, you have 300% offense for 2 turns. So their second round of turns, they're just murdering crap.
What are you primarily using that? Are you putting it on defense for GAC, or are you putting it on? You're playing it on offense, and what are you countering?
Well, so 3v3 was on defense. 5v5, it's coming on offense, and probably, I mean, it kills like all the it kills every GL. It kills every GL. So
okay. Nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay. We go through everything here. Final week of 3s. I finished 2-1 this week, which was nice for me. Like I mentioned, though, getting stuck on Leia was sort of a problem, and I do have deficiencies in ships right now, so I just got executor farm going, which is nice. So yeah. All right, Solo, we're going to change the subject here, and we're going to go community mailbag here. So if you're unfamiliar with this, it's pretty straightforward. People from my community put their questions in a channel, and then we ask them to our guests. So this week's question comes in from Wolfman0614, and he asks, Dear Solo, do you think that if CG changed the size of guilds from 50 to 25, it would have a positive or negative impact on the game?
All right, so this is assuming
they
all the raid scores get dropped,
they balance everything.
Yeah. I've played games with smaller guilds, and other than recruiting, I like the bigger guilds better.
Is it just a better sense of community? More people pull into the right direction? Like, what is that?
It's when you have smaller guilds, if a couple people aren't online, the chat just goes dead for, 4 hours.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like that. That would not be great.
Yeah, when you have 50 people, somebody is going to be around if you were around. So I like the size just because it's a better sense of community. There's always going to be somebody there.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think of it like that, but yeah. Those, Discord, being active on Discord, that's a lifeblood for a lot of these communities and, guilds. It's interesting. I wonder what the dynamic is for MSF, because I believe MSF is 20. And I wonder, if someone up and quits, you feel it a little bit at 50, right?
Right.
But
yeah,
to feel it at 20, that's got to be, magnified. That's like, oh, man, what are we going to do to replace this person?
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. Yeah, I think I would prefer 50 as well. Okay. As a reminder to listeners, if you'd like to submit a community mailbag, swing on by the Hall Discord and drop a question in the channel titled Community Mailbag, and I'll be selecting my favorite question from that channel each and every week. So please do participate. All right, my brother. We're at 36 minutes, which is great for no news week here.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're in the final stretch, my man, and it's time for maximum firepower.
All right.
So in this last little segment here, we're going to put our guest on the hot seat. We're going to test his mental limits. First, I'll give him 5 SWGOH or Star Wars related topics, and Solo will have, he'll respond with a short answer that best describes it. We're looking for rapid fire here, Solo, so the first thing that comes to mind. Next, after that, I'm going to force Solo to get controversial and finish a sentence that I've started. And then lastly, we're going to break these up so don't feel like it's all happening at once. Lastly, you'll have 1 minute to guess a randomly selected character by asking me a series of yes or no questions. And you can't have the game up, so hands in the air, sir.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Are you ready, Solo? That's the
bring it on. Yeah.
Right, here we go.
Target, maximum firepower.
Short answer. Where'd my questions go? Okay, let's try that again.
Target, maximum firepower.
Short answer. Throwing out episodes 1 through 9, what is the best Star Wars content?
Oh, man. Best content? Clone Wars TV show.
Number 2, a sleeper tank that people underrate.
9th.
Number 3, SWGOH will exist for how many more years?
At least 6.
Number 4, favorite Clone Wars character?
I'm going to be cliche and say Snips.
Okay. Number 5, true or false, Andor Season 2 will bring back fandom.
I'm going to go false just because I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Throwing out episodes for short response, throwing out episodes 1 through 9. What is the best Star Wars content? You said Clone Wars TV show. Yeah, I could agree that's a great take, by the way. I would say Mando, but that's just me. But
Mando's good. Yeah.
But there is something to be said about the Clone Wars TV show. I didn't watch it till I started playing Galaxy of Heroes. And when I watched it, I'm like, man, some of this stuff is dark. Like this is not a kid's show. It's like It's a kid.
No.
It's got a paint job of a kid's show, but it's dark. It's crazy. Yeah. And you compare it to stuff like Bad Batch, and it's like, oh, Bad Batch is for babies compared to Clone Wars.
And then you watch that awful Resistance show.
You're like, what is this? Yeah. Sleeper tank that people underrate. What did you say?
Ninth.
What's ninth?
Ninth sister?
Oh, Night Sister Zombie?
No, ninth.
The ninth
So,
sister.
the Inquisitor.
The ninth
Yeah.
sister. Okay. Oh, yeah. I actually don't have any experience with her. What makes her underrated in your opinion?
So she has a good suite of debuffs. You have to put her with somebody that's gonna, like on a Lord Vader team or in 3v3. This is the team I should have talked about earlier. Darth Vader, Starkiller, Ninth Sister, which is just destruction incarnate this season.
She's the one that kicks up all the dirt when she starts throwing stuff at you? Is that one?
Does she? Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know her from the Fallen Order series, but I obviously don't have Inquisitors,
Yeah.
so I don't know a whole lot about her, but I'll get there eventually. All right. SWGOH will exist for how many more years? You said
6.
6 more years.
Yeah, bring us to 15.
Yeah. You think what do they got to do to make it 6 more years though? I mean, it seems like everything's cheaper and more affordable now.
Yeah, I don't think they have to do much. The game is still ridiculously profitable.
Oh yeah.
So just don't piss us off, and I think we'll still be here.
I can tell you from quitting for 3 years and coming back, it's way more accessible now, and I feel like
Yes.
they're much more. They listen, I would say, more. And like, remember
They
when everyone
do.
was complaining about like the eras and update stuff, and they fixed
Yeah.
like a lot of it like immediately. I don't know.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Assuming the IP doesn't get sold and they have to shut it down or anything like that, then I
Right.
could definitely see 6 more years. And the development of something similar in Star Wars, I don't think we're going to see another Star Wars mobile game. I think
Not a good one.
Not a good one. I mean, we see stuff like Hunters, and that's already forgotten, right? So,
Right.
yeah, I could see 6 years easy. We said favorite Clone Wars character. You said Snips, and she's fantastic. Is she your favorite version of Ahsoka, or do you have a one you prefer even more so over than?
I like adult Ahsoka. Like did you read the Ahsoka book?
I didn't
This
read
is
the
probably
book,
what-
but yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, probably the gray Ahsoka, but not. I like the newest show, but not really that version. Kind of the just out of the Jedi version.
Yeah, I like Fulcrum. Fulcrum's my favorite version from Rebels.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a huge Rebels fan, but totally enjoy her. All right, and then the last one, true or false, and/or season 2 will bring back fandom. You said false. I think a lot of the people are just checked out until we get something that is definitively like a big, theatrical production or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the next one here, which is controversial statement. You have to finish this statement, okay?
Okay.
The next existing character to get a GL version, not named Thrawn, will be ... I have 2 thoughts here, but I'm curious on what you think.
Okay. Man, I'm gonna go with a Kenobi.
Kenobi. We already got a
Yeah.
Kenobi, a GL Kenobi.
When has that ever stopped them from giving us?
Wow, this is a take right here. What version of Kenobi would this be? I mean, we've got. I guess it would be the Kenobi show version.
Probably. I mean,
And they could.
I don't know.
They could do like.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Anytime they get stuck in okay, we need something to get people excited. It's going to be Kenobi, Palp, or Luke, right? Those are the big 3. So
They could do a new Vader. They could do like half the face ripped off, half
They
the
could.
mask ripped off Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see, you're cooking now. I was thinking, okay, my head immediately went to a new version of Yoda. I feel like we don't have
All right, yeah.
a souped up version of Yoda. I mean, GMY is great, Hoda's great, but like they could really go just nuts with a new version of Yoda. And I don't know what version that would be because we sort of have.
Well, yeah. He showed up in High Republic, like, you know.
Oh, in the
side
books,
appearance.
in the books,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, well, maybe they would do like Cassian because, like, you know, if they were getting a new Andor, but I'm like, Cassian's not really a galactic legend.
Yeah, I would be angry at that one because he's just. I was angry at Jabba, to be honest with you. I like the Jabba kit. I like the character. I like the team. But I was like, is he really a galactic legend? He kind of just does his thing on the Outer Rim, right?
I mean, who's more worthy than Jabba, right? I mean, I think Jabba's like a larger than life personality. He's a crime boss. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of into it. I just was like, whenever we talked, like we would speculate like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, what's coming to the game? And then we found the art for Jabba. We're like, oh my God, they paid someone to do Jabba art. Jabba's coming. And I was like, well, this is going to look like the dumbest thing ever having Jabba out there on the Holotables. And then you know what? They executed it the best possible way I think they could have. And I was sort of like, I get kicks watching him, and he's like, you know, making all this noise and Crumb's throwing thermals and like, I think they did about as good as Jabba as they could have done to bring Jabba as a galactic legend.
Yes, but you know what they need to do? They need to bring Zero the Hutt in.
The Cajun Hutt with the accent.
Yes,
Zero the Hutt. Would he be? Yeah. Would he be like a? He would have to be like a large unit, right? Like Great Mothers, right?
He would have to be. I mean, I'm just disappointed that Jabba is the only Hutt we have.
Well, if they're bringing Zero, then they have to bring Shy Snoodles, right? The singer that executed Zero. Is that really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. All right. A new Kenobi GL version. All right. Last one here. We're going to guess the Holotable hero. You can't have the game up.
Okay.
But I need you to think factions, okay? I need you to think factions and tags, and those are the yes or no questions you should ask, like stuff like, you know, is it a leader? That sort of thing. So let me get the clock pulled up here, Solo.
Let me scroll off the game because I was doing Conquest.
Okay.
All right.
So the clock is pulled up. I have my randomly selected character all picked and ready to go. Let me go stopwatch here. Okay. 1 minute on the clock.
All right.
Go.
Is it support?
It is not.
Is it a tank?
Yes.
Is it a bounty hunter?
No.
Is it a rebel?
Yes.
Is it Leia?
No.
Is it Han?
More specific.
Stormtrooper Han.
Bam! 21 seconds. A new record for Guess the Holotable Hero. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Clash.
Oh my God, you beat Calvin's record. Calvin had the record at 27 seconds.
Take that, Calvin. Who's awesome now?
Oh my goodness, dude. That is incredible. All right, well, that is the end of our show. 48 minutes on a no news week, everybody. You need a man to come in here and talk some shop. You got Solo. Solo, what do you got? Let's get your plugs in now. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, Gambit Podcast. We are on all the podcast places. Then Gambit Podcast on Twitch. That's just the name. And then SoloBass 15 on Twitch. Come find us.
There you go. Good friend. Great to meet you, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. You are incredible. You can catch me on Twitch 4 times a week with Performance GACs on Friday nights. The ultimate Grand Arena party, so come on down. The Hall Alliance is always recruiting, so let us know if you need a guild. You can follow me on X or just come slum it in that scriff hole, better known as the Hall Discord. I'm around. You can find me. And that wraps us up for this week. Try that again. And that wraps us up for this week, manifesting you all health, happiness, and the most potent drop rates possible. Please get to your ship safely, and I'll see you out on them holotables. Good night, everyone.
If you enjoyed this episode of Love on the Holotables, be sure to show your support by liking this content and leaving a comment wherever you get your podcasts. Also, consider joining the best Star Wars community at discord.gg/UrzZz or attending a whole live stream at twitch.tv/UrzZz. Thank you, and remember, the Force will be with you always.